GM, one and all. This is our weekly all-team tactical meeting. So we're going to use this time to sync up on the work going on around BCard, eliminate blockers, and prioritize our work. And just FYI, this call is recorded. And we often share clips on social media. So if you don't want to be shared, just let me know. Just in case you're wondering what we do, we help purpose-driven communities use Web3 tooling to generate revenue and engagement. On the lag metric side, this is what we're trying to make happen. We had $881 in transaction volume last week. So that's up $690 from the week previous. 4 weekly transacting users, which is down, I think like 3. 0 new users, which is steady, and 11 communities deployed. So yeah, a little bit lower on the lead metrics than the last couple weeks. But to be honest, I haven't been putting as much hours in the last couple of weeks. On the team-wide announcement side, taxes are filed, which is great. Big thank you to Arkusti for that. That was a big job, or rather, let's say, an uncertain job. So thanks a lot for that, Arkusti. Appreciate you. Also, we got $5,000 from Noun's naming service. This is something that they had promised that they would give us actually last year or even before. Yeah, I think it was like something like that for for creating that Nouns card with Apple Pay and Google Wallet. There was an opportunity recently to post it about it on the Nouns forum, which I kind of reported last week. And that kind of got the ball rolling and got .nouns to send the money to our multisig. So that's great news. We are made whole there. Another thing that I wanted to report is that we are going to have access to a Splits on-chain bank account. I went to sign up this morning, and I realized that the invite link expired 2 days ago, which is really unfortunate. So Splits is they're really working on this new kind of Teams app, and it's supposed to make things a little bit more seamless between your Mercury bank account and your multisig. So what that means is that we could have an easy way for us to bridge on and off-ramp funds, at least from a organization perspective. This isn't the same as on and on-ramping funds for our users. That we would have to probably work with someone else. But they have Bridge support right on there, and Bridge, I'm speaking about Bridge the company. And so we can do on and off ramps for just the bridge fee, which is 0.25% flat, which is great for us. So I poked them again this morning to try to get that link, and then I will ensure that me, Arkusti, and NF Thinker have appropriate access to that going forward, and we'll see how we work this. But the nice thing about it is that they are building it as they go, so it could be that we get them to add some features as well as we're giving feedback. So we'll see. They gave me a demo like 2 weeks ago, and it was it looked like exactly what we needed. Moving down to the milestone perspectives, our aim is to create 10 weekly transacting users. That's what we're that's our goal. Down to 4 this week. We were kind of steady at 6, 7 for the last couple of weeks. On this front, we have airdrop reward. So this is tested and ready for use. Actually, Tom, do you want to give an update on this?
We're live on production. We've got some new functionality in the back end to allow our rewards deployer wallet to interact with our card user admin numbers, allowing us to settle our rewards. So my task that I have been just started this week and I'm working towards by the end of the week is to settle up all of our users' rewards so that we end up the end of the month with a nice clean slate, so that all of the rewards that were claimed in March and become claimable in April can then be deployed to the users with our monthly chores. So that'll be a new sort of process and procedure with our monthly chores. That'll allow us to settle up those rewards every month and send those tokens over to the user's embedded wallet, allowing them to use them for voting and other coming soon features.
Yeah, that also simplifies greatly our reward claim process, which it would appear from the feedback is our, let's say, Achilles heel in some ways in terms of our experience. And that is also because is also because we had some issues with wallet connection. So this kind of like eases those issues. Users don't have to think about that kind of stuff, and it's going to make doing things like voting and potentially staking in our pool together pools a lot easier for us to accomplish. It also means that probably like for many, like let's say hardcore crypto users, they may not want to interact with it the way that we might want them to, but this could work for non-crypto users, or it could work for those crypto native users who are just not keeping large stacks on BCard. This is still something to explore, but yes, the airdrop rewards really helps kind of close the loop on that front.
Yeah, the one sort of concern we had in that vein in regards to allowing people to get their tokens out of that embedded wallet is that we've also included, as per Privy, an export wallet functionality so that those super savvy tech users that are super keen to be in full control of all of their tokens have full access to add their Privy embedded wallet to any of their non-custodial wallet options like MetaMask or Rainbow Wallet or whatever they like to use as well.
Yep, absolutely. All right. Speaking of in-app voting, the Black Flag token will be used for next month's in real life events drop. I hope. Knock on wood. Actually, how are we doing on that, Tom? In terms of dropping that token?
Yeah, so the provisional one that I put out, I think is in good shape. I think that there's a few tweaks I want to make before we get to the live production one. We were talking about deploying new functionality, which is unique to OP Superchain, allowing the tokens to be easily bridged and migrate up and down across all of the Superchain chains. So this is a bit of an experimental feature, and I had some questions with Lynx last week about including it, whether or not we thought it would be worth it. But since we're in experimental mode, I think we're going to go ahead and try out the new features. And if it doesn't work out, then you can expect a V2 token around the corner coming as well.
Yeah, exactly. Like since it's an experimental token, we could even just like abandon the token and then drop a new one as well, right? Like there's no liquidity behind this token. There's nothing like that. So it's easy for us to kind of change it as we need. But yeah, anyone who's using BCard, so I think like a lot of people here, will have a little Black Flag token that will show up in their BCard app, and you will be able to use that to vote on in real life events. And so look for that in the probably in the next week or two. Speaking of in-app voting as well, OMF is interested, and they told me to sync back up with them next week after they're done their taxes. Worked for me because I also had to get our taxes done, so that was helpful for me as well. And yeah, that's kind of it on those two fronts. I think like when we have the airdrop rewards and the in-app voting, the key for me now around getting those kinds of weekly transacting users is actually around how do we create engagement for communities. And so that's just something that we really need to look into more. That's going to be like now that we're getting some of these constituent pieces put together. Hey, we have these rewards that we can airdrop. Hey, you can use those rewards to vote. Hey, you can use those rewards to potentially automatically invest in a pool together pool, not invest rather, but like deposit into a pool together pool to draw even more yield. If we start getting those constituent pieces together, the really interesting thing, or like the thing we'll have to unlock is how do we package all of those things together in a way that is intriguing for community leaders. Okay, so that's the job, and when I say intriguing for community leaders, that's really around communication. Okay, and so getting into that, we have 10 new users a week. The messaging and segment research, I didn't make any progress last week because I'm mainly working on our taxes, but in this next step is to fill out our segments, and I did start this already. I'll give you guys like a quick and dirty. Actually, where did I put that? Where did I put that window, which has where I started? It's around here somewhere. Come on. So this community hit list is what I'm working on right now. And so you can see like I'm looking at nonprofits right now. I'll probably try to get like 10 nonprofits and then just call all 10 of them, right? Like on the phone and see how far I can get, see what those kinds of frontline workers are saying, and see if I can actually get in contact with decision makers. The key for us will be figuring out what message really intrigues people or gets us where we need to be, using those like words, whether it's like online, through the phone, whatever. It's all about sparking interest. And so I know, Shelby, I owe you like a bunch of messaging that you can put into landing pages. This is the beginning of that. I really need to like once I have this list, I'm going to come up with a couple messages that I'm going to test on the phone. And then if some of that stuff works, I'm going to write it down for you, and say, hey, Shelby, can you make a landing page using this? Does that make sense?
Yep, cool, thank you.
Yeah. And so on this side, we have nonprofits. Like this is what we're looking at. So like right now I'm looking at nonprofits. Then next I'm going to be looking at probably something a little bit further down here. But yeah, that's kind of the idea. All right. The endowment fund. So our vote is complete for this month for the in real life events. I talked to POAP about getting some support from them. They actually reached out to me because they saw our messages on social media and they were like, "Hey, this is really interesting, and you guys are using POAPs for this. Okay, this is cool." And they were wondering how they could support us. They say they have a network of people who are running in real life events and using POAPs for that. And they were they said that they could connect us with them to potentially get a couple more events going on there. I said our biggest gap right now is, so we have two kind of gaps. One, I want to try to get to 5 events consistently every month. And then after that, I want to increase the amount of sponsorships we have. So purple funding is one on there. We could probably also potentially write a proposal to Nouns or these other kinds of DAOs. There's now a mechanism to get DAOs involved, because we have a way to kind of say like, hey, you put this much in, all of your outstanding tokens are worth X amount of votes, and we've tested that with Black Flag DAO. And so those are the kinds of things we need to work on. Unfortunately, I've had my hands full in the last couple of weeks, but yeah, we're going to talk a little bit during the discussion about how we can get people to run in real life events. On the ChippyCon front, I did reconcile the list of addresses with our user database. That one missing address I figured out by going straight into Privy, and so that is that one is done. Tom, I posted this on Asana. I don't know if you get those Asana notes, but can I have you drop them all that Chippy exclusive NFT?
Yep, no worries. I'll just fire that list off as soon as we finish up this call.
Awesome. Yeah, so that list, I gave you all of their embedded IDs from the community info table and one from Privy. So I think that when they log into their BCard apps, they should be able to see that one in there. Cool. And then 10 high quality communities. We're not really aiming on getting new communities right now. We've achieved this goal, and now we're kind of trying to figure out which communities we should be targeting. All right, let's get into our task perspective. Unless there's any questions on this front, 10 weekly transacting users, 10 new users a week, or 10 high quality communities. Anything from that? No? Okay, let's get into here. Year-end taxes and more. This is done. So we can mark this as complete. Once again, thanks to Arcusti. Appreciate that you got a lot of that done for us. Automatically drop rewards to users' embedded wallets. Well, Tom kind of already gave us an update on this. Anything else you want to say?
No, I think that's the bulk of it. We're waiting on a production push for the app client. We're ready to see that sort of new mock screen coming up, but that will be pending very shortly.
Yeah, and I think that by the end of this week, I'll be able to dust this off and hopefully make it a little bit, try to simplify as much as I can. All right, community leader research. This was kind of like what I had here under messaging segment research. So that's the update there. We have the hit list. We need to fill it in and start reaching out to people. And I'll just put the link in there just so we have it there too. It's working on profits now. Okay, great. March 2025 monthly chores. This is really just for me to post our rewards on social, especially since Tom is now going to be sending those rewards out. So yeah, I didn't do this. I probably will do it in March and April both. So next week I'll do both March and April since I kind of missed the March deadline here. Identity messaging and growth dashboard. This is really related to community leader research. I'm going to go ahead and move this down into next up because we really need to get this community leader research done first. I'm going to assign this to myself as well, and we'll go from there. Ensure everyone with a B card at the ChippyCon event gets an NFT. So we just talked about this, Tom. I left you the doc in here.
Got it.
All right. Glow Dollar communication perspective. So NF Thinker, I think you said you were trying to reach out to Glow Dollar.
Hey, yeah. Sorry if you were trying to speak to me earlier. I'm not sure if you were asking me a question or not. I was talking to the heating technician who's finally hopefully fixed my heating problems. Okay. Yeah, Glow Dollar. I reached back out to Lana and she did get back to me. And she said that we could set up a time to chat. I don't know if that might be better for you to set up a time and chat with her, or I'm happy to come along as well. But I think you're going to know more of the ins and outs. So we can do like a 3-way conversation. She sent me a link to her calendar. So if it works for you, I'll use your iCal to select a time for her calendar. And then we'll go from there. Does that work for you?
Yeah, it might be difficult just because my calendar is kind of split now between 2 computers and I can't connect them, unfortunately, because of security issues. So maybe I can sync up with you a little bit later today on I mean, Wednesdays are typically the best day.
Yep.
If we can set something up for next Wednesday, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I will give that a try.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's in the evening, it can work. Yeah, she's got some that are a little bit later, so that can definitely work for me.
Okay, great.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I'll send you a time now, see if that works for you.
okay, good. And I'll check on my other computer maybe.
Frickin' daylight savings is this weekend, so I just want to make sure that. Yeah, I'll double check with her whatever the times are because, like I said, we have daylight savings here, so I don't know if her calendar accounts for that or not. So yeah, I'll double check, and then we'll go from there.
Cool. Sounds good. Thanks, NF
All right.
Thinker.
Yep.
All right, the Black Flag Endowment Fund. I did speak about this. I need to distribute the funds, hopefully at some point today, and then I will try to get a couple more events for the next month as well, and get that purple proposal written, which I haven't done yet. Make in-app voting useful to the BCard and Black Flag Collective team. So, well, this is one of the things that Tom is working on with that Black Flag card here. Sorry, with that Black Flag token. Airdrop would be, yeah, here we go. It's right here. So, boom. Stick that at the top there. And then hopefully we will have the ability for more people to vote. Anything else anyone's working on that's not on this list? No?
I have finally, I don't know if I mentioned this last week, but collecting and transcribing and stuff, the content I collected from ChippyCon and stuff. And we do have some photos, a little bit of video, some audio interviews. And then I need to connect with ZFi, who's in the middle of moving right now. And he's got some other content that I need from that as well that I need to pull together. But I've got a bunch of little things I'm working on that are not completed, related to Youth Denver and ChippyCon and all that stuff. So yes, I've been working on it. No, I have nothing to report.
Okay, fair enough. Well, feel free to use this meeting as like an accountability spot for that kind of stuff. That works.
Yeah, you bet. I'm already delayed on it. It's just, yeah. Anyway, I need to get my shit together.
Cool. All right. Thanks for that update, Drost. Other than that, let's get back into, well, actually, I forgot to fill this in. What did we ship last week? Luckily, Tom wrote some stuff in here. So Tom shipped an updated backend UI for the dashboard. Yeah, I saw that. Now you can switch between the things so you don't have to scroll as much. That's pretty cool. Tom shipped a functional prototype to production to enable backend rewards deployer on chain for all BCard users. Our Kusti and Lynx shipped our taxes. So that's a federal, USA, Delaware, USA, or let's say state, and then Panama filing. So that's all three of those are completed, which is great. What else? Drost shipped the list of ChippyCon attendees, and Lynx reconciled with our user database. So that was something that we did as well. Let's see, what else do we have here? Yeah, it's mainly that stuff. Anything else anyone shipped that they wanna put out here? All right. Well, a good week for compliance at the very least in getting our taxes out, and a great week for the rewards deployer. I don't know if you saw my post on social, but Tom was just dropping small amounts of bank to my wallet as part of his testing. So I thought that was kind of funny. Anyways, down
Did it show up
to
as airdrop for you?
what's that?
Did it show up as airdropped to you?
I could check right now.
I think I saw
I
in the
don't think it
Rainbow
did.
UI. It said sent, or it said airdropped. I was like, that's kind of weird, but maybe I was looking at something different.
Let's see. I mean, sometimes it does say airdropped. Let's see. What did it say here? It said received. Did not say airdropped. Just says
The other
received.
thing I forgot that we were working on this week was the mitigation for the those duplicate transactions. The last little bit of work that was done was fixing duplicate rewards. I realized this week, and that was corrected.
Oh yeah. Fixed the duplicate rewards issues. All right. Oh, sorry. Was it duplicate rewards or was it duplicate transactions?
Well, the transactions were reissued, which caused a reissue on some rewards. So because they were treated as new transactions coming in, there wasn't a duplication. It didn't hit the duplication blocker. So
Interesting. Okay, cool.
because the way that it is detects that is it will only allow you to reward once for a single transaction, but because these duplicates were seen as new transactions, they were given the full treatment of rewards. So
Yeah, makes sense. Cool. All right. So that's what we shipped last week. Not a bad week at all. All right. And into our discussion items, the thing that I want to talk about, okay, and let's see how far we get on this topic. But in general, we have this kind of pool for Black Flag Collective. We have a snapshot space for it, and you can see our previously funded events as well. So if you look at our previously funded events, you can see that we're giving away like between like $200 to $500 a month. And the question that I want to ask is, what can I do to encourage people here to run a monthly event in their city, in their local area? And this is for literally anyone, even if you've never thought of running an event before in your life. That's even I'm interested in what you have to say, like, because in general, I like to always start with ourselves. So if we can't make it interesting for ourselves, or if we don't understand why we ourselves wouldn't run an event or would run an event, then we can't do it for others. Durst, I see that you unmuted. Would love to hear your point of view.
Running an event sounds daunting when you just say that. It's not. It doesn't need to be. And maybe what we can do is have some best practices that we put together so that it's a set of resources, if you will, for somebody. It's like, hey, I'd like to run an in real life event, but I really don't know where to start or what's the timeline. What do I need to prepare ahead of time? What are the, just these things that you run into running an event, because we've all been to events that are so poorly run. It's like, well, come on. I mean, what happened here? It's like, okay. And again, we're not talking about some seminar with 300 people there. We're talking about, like you said, maybe even 5 people sitting around a table at a bar talking about a common interest. But it needs to have some sort of structure or some sort of theme for it, or if you're just meeting people for the first time, maybe what are some icebreakers if you're not good at that, just that kind of thing, I think would be helpful for people that are not comfortable with, quote, running something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like the idea of having some sort of preset agenda. What is the topic at hand? Like, what's the point? What are we going to call it? Is it blockchain basics? Do we need to give any form of presentation? Do we need a projector screen or a large TV screen that we can connect to? Or is it just something that we can hand out flyers or just talk to people? Purpose of the event and some form of agenda.
Yeah, almost like a media kit, that, or an event kit. Like, it's just a set of simple materials or checklists, just stuff like that. It's like, okay, I want to run an event. What kind of an event? Okay, well, it's a small gathering at a bar. Okay, here's some things you want to think about. Oh, we're going to rent a space. Okay, well, here's some things to think about. I think that would be super useful, and that's leverageable, right? Any community that want to use it, they then just have access to that library of resources.
Yeah, I do think that a library of resources sounds interesting, right? Or just like at the very easiest, it could be like, here's how to run a pub event, right? Like it's literally just like, this is how you run a pub event. Like 2 weeks before,
Yeah,
send
cookbook.
an invitation out to everyone. Yeah, a cookbook. To run a pub event, right? And
If
that's
I'd have
like,
known you were
right?
coming, I'd have baked the cake. Sorry.
Is that a song? I've never heard that.
I'm all coffeeed up, if you couldn't tell.
Yeah, I didn't get enough coffee this morning. I'm on the opposite side. Yeah, so agreed that some resources could help. But I mean, so imagine if you had that resource, Drost, would you then run an event?
Yeah. I've been thinking about running one anyway. It's just, it's just getting the shit together, right? It's always about getting the shit together.
Yeah, and so it's just like if you had just like a checklist of things to do and like when to do them, you would run an event.
Yeah, and of course the time to do it and motivation, all that stuff. But yeah, of course.
So what is
I
the
just did one.
Yeah, you just did one at ChippyCon, right? ChippyCon I think was
Yeah.
probably like it's like kind of like mid tier. It's a step
Yeah, it's
above.
mid-tier, right?
Yeah, it's like
It's
a
definitely a
step
step
above.
above.
Yeah, it's a step above running a pub event, but it wasn't a pub.
Correct.
It was at like
Yes.
a whiskey
And I
bar.
have to say, Johnny is really the one that was the driver of that. He's amazing.
Yeah.
Of course, he teaches leadership, so not surprising.
Yep. Yeah. And what is the motivation factor that you're missing?
Oh, I'm motivated. It's just let me just think about that for a minute. We all chit chat.
Cool. Well, then I will pointedly ask someone else. Tom, would you ever run an in real life event?
Yeah, I'm definitely not opposed to in real life events. I think that for me, the biggest thing that would encourage me to do it was give me a give me a purpose. So give me like a goal that I want to achieve with this in real life event. So I'd have to have that personally, and then the tools to execute it. Like locally here, like if we had the B card in Canada, that would be a motivating factor for me because I would be like be able to tie the B card into the local events with a lot more ease for Canada. But beyond that, what else would help me encourage me run a local event? Mostly people wanting me to do it would encourage me, right? So
Yes.
getting feeling the desire of that sort of thing reflected back to me would help me sort of get the activation energy to do it.
That's interesting. Because like it's definitely true. Every time I run an event, people are like, "When's the next one? Can we do one before next month?" Right? Like they're always interested in doing. They have ideas. They just want someone to like make a phone call to like book the place, and they'll kind of show up. And it's because of that I do them. So I totally, that kind of reflection is really important. One thing I was
Another
thinking
thing
specifically
that popped.
for you, Tom. Oh, sorry, go
Sorry,
ahead,
go ahead.
Tom. Well, I was thinking for Tom, like, since you live in like a smaller area, like, I'm in the big city or whatever, so like I feel like there are people who are around. Do you feel like you know people who would kind of show up to like a quote unquote crypto event?
I think there's probably of my circle of people and my like extended circle of people, I could probably get a handful of people to come to an event once. Whether to get them to continue coming or whatever, that would probably just depend on how good how good I could make the event, I guess, at that point. But yeah, at this point, I could likely get together a room of something like 10 to 20 people or whatever for a get together. Again, their level of interest in crypto would be varying, but certainly I think that there would be enough interest from a smallish number of people.
Yeah, I wondered about that too, because the people who come to these events from Farcaster, like they're bought into crypto in that they're like, yeah, like I think crypto is a good path forward for us, but they're not like talking about crypto. Like I call it like the difference between these events and like a Bitcoin event. At Bitcoin events, everyone is talking about crypto continually all the time, right? Whereas in like some of these pub events that I'm running, people are just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "Oh, I'm working on like making money on YouTube, and I'm teaching people how to use like Obsidian notes or something like that." And like, well, what does that have to do with crypto? Oh, well, I also post on Farcaster and I like crypto, right? So it's just like crypto may not be like the core discussion, but people are just kind of bought into it. I don't know. There's like something there which is interesting.
Yeah, so I guess the thing is kind of like if you're trying to gather a particular community, right? It's a little bit easier because you all have that shared sort of central core around it. So for example, here in Paris, I run a little tennis club or whatever. We got a couple like 100 or so members with kids and stuff like that. The overlap between the crypto friendly audience is not super large with that particular crowd, but having the B card to give to members of the tennis club to have them use it as a loyalty card, like to me that's a saleable event idea that you could get people on board with, being like, hey, if you use this B card just every day, maybe your membership is free next year, that type of thing. So certainly there are options when the tools are there to sort of use that, try to figure out the way to wedge those tools into the communities that you're already a part of. I think would be the way that I would wish to use it.
One of the challenges I have is, you're wanting it to be, well, I want it to be social and getting to know people and what they're interested in. And, are these people I want to hang out with, right? And what I don't want to do is turn these opportunities to meet people in a real way and turn that into yet another shill or a perception of a shill or a sales presentation, because I've been in sales, and I don't really want to be in sales. It's you know, it's an ulterior motive, right? You know, why are we really doing this? It's like, well, oh gosh, well, we're really promoting BCard. And so
Yeah,
I think,
I feel that too.
yeah, I think we need to be really careful about that, and I think that also might be a reason for a person to be reluctant to run something.
Yep. Yeah, and so like for me, like the reason why I put this stuff under like this idea of Black Flag is because Black Flag has the ability to be something other than B card, right? Like for me, it's like I mean, right here, I was kind of playing with the messaging a little bit recently here. So really, we're a community of people who find top-down organizations such as big banks, big governments, and big tech stifling. We seek to make bottom-up change through our actions. That's still not a very good rallying cry for people. Like you wouldn't necessarily want to go to a meetup that has that as like the tagline, right? Um, so like this idea that we're trying to gather a group of people together. I agree that like I wouldn't show up to an event that's like, hey, we're selling B cards, or like, hey, this is for us to make money or anything. Really, it's like more like, hey, we are what's the word? Like we're here because we have a common interest, but articulating that common interest can be difficult.
Right, right. It's like even in just casual conversations about what's happening in people's lives and what's going on in the world or in the country and stuff, and you just hear these concerns over cocktails and stuff, um, and and I think people feel powerless to do anything, yet they're concerned, and also they don't want to get sucked into some sort of um, public activism, right? This is kind of going off on a tangent. It's just through some experiences over the last few years and how people have responded to things, and what they say versus what they actually do. And I'm just thinking, what are we're talking about changing paradigms. We're talking about ways for people to connect. We're talking about ways for us to create community and make decisions, vote on things, and do actionable things to continue to build and create and build community. And BCard is one of those tools. But you know, not taking advantage of or leveraging, but tying into people's genuine interests and concerns, and wanting to participate in a way that is comfortable for them, and in a way that it's like when I've done some grassroots stuff in the past, and there's always people that'll come out and are willing to set up for the event, or make a pot of stew, or maybe make a handful of phone calls, or make name tags, or do variety of things like that. You're not going to get, if you tell people, okay, the only way you're going to be able to participate in this is you have to go knock on doors. It's like, okay, well, I'm not coming. I'm not going to do it then. And so you have to give people multiple ways to participate that are low key, low risk, that give them an opportunity to test the waters and see if A, they're interested in the group, B, they like the people, all that kind of stuff.
Yep, I completely agree with you. Like there has to be like these kinds of like showing up to an event, I feel like is like a lower bar than hey, you have to do something. Like you have to like knock on doors, but if you want to do something, maybe you can find people at the event who want to do that with you. Right? Like you don't have to, but it's like a place where you can find people to do more if you want to. Yeah, actually, it's something I've been like. I guess like when you said it was a tangent, but really like that whole thing. Like when I started asking myself like, what can I do to like I have that issue, right? Like I look at the world the way it is right now, like I'm not going to be able to challenge like these big politicians or these Silicon Valley giants with anything I do. What can I do, right? So like I can't solve that problem, but what can I do? Like if I'm looking globally and acting locally, what can I do? Well, I see what's happening globally. I see that the networks that they've created have essentially been co-opted, right? And so I'm like, I want to create a new network that doesn't use Twitter, right? I want to create a new network outside of their networks. Actually, the best way to do that is in person, right? That's how you create like a network of trust. So for me, that's actually a big part of Black Flag Collective, these in real life events is, hey, these are networks of people who have met in real life. They know each other. They've spoken to each other. They've seen each other's faces. And therefore, those people are this is a new network that is kind of being built from the ground up. Like that's kind of one of the reasons. Like your tangent is one of the main reasons that I'm interested in real life events, is because I think that is one thing you can do to kind of reach people. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll keep making tangents then, Links.
Sounds good. Well, let's get someone else's point of view. I mean, Rainus, you haven't talked yet. I don't know if you're able to talk, but what's preventing you from having a monthly in real life event in your neighborhood?
Hey yo, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Oh wait, I had to switch from headphones because they are activating all the time. So
Did
what's
you?
stopping
I mean,
me?
I can hear you now.
Yeah, I'm fine. I just had to switch devices. Um, Sorry guys for being absent. I was doing some new skill learning for the past few months, so been
Yeah,
but
I mean,
I'm
no
back.
need to apologize for being absent.
Yeah.
That's the way DAOs work.
Amazing. Well, I'm happy to be back. I'll try again. I once tried being back, it didn't work, but all right. What's stopping me from creating real life events? Actually nothing, because we are doing that. We for the past year have created like a community and around freestyling. So like we made an event where people came and freestyled. We did
Like
like less.
rapping.
Yeah, but like you don't write it before. You just it's improv rapping, um, on the spot. So it's actually this is a very good topic because we've learned so much. We did 19 events last year, and it grew like crazy. But the things that worked, uh, things that worked, and why that event worked was number one, it was free to enter. That's a big part, because when it's a new organization or new event, anything, it's like if people are paying money for the entry, they are expecting something in return, and like the expectations have to be met, and then you have to have big artists or spend a lot of money on like entertainment and stuff. So it so it was free to enter. That was a very good part. So people had no like, no, I'm not going there. So everybody brought their friends, how many people wanted, and it grew by word of mouth mostly. The second thing that worked there is that the way, well, freestyling events have been done before, but most of them stopped, and it was basically because like it would be like a show. Like they would sign up rappers that came to freestyle, and everybody else just went to watch them. What was different for us is that we made the event about everybody freestyling. So the main person we were trying to attract was somebody who wanted to try to be on the stage, to rap in front of people, enjoy their time. And so we were including everybody in an activity, you know. So that was also a big part. So there was people who were coming and freestyling. Some were first time even took the mic, so they had their first on stage experience. Some were like very good at this, so they were just practicing. Like they came regularly to events to get better skills, stage presence. So the whole event feel was made in a way where you can get something. You don't pay, you get experience, you can get practice, you can get new friends. Everything was like the people who came, they got more than they would somewhere else, like psychologically. And also in time that built a community. That we had people that are coming repeatedly. We had some people who have not skipped even one event, so to all 19 events they went. I'm on a meeting right now. So yeah, that was what worked. Do, 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 do. Yeah, and now it's evolved to that most of the regulars that were coming to event are making a music album together for, and so they are now working together. So we were able to build a network and connect people, and then even elevate them to a further project which requires planning and execution and everything. So that's I guess that's the core learnings from running a real life event when you are starting without a budget. So because the first event, like we didn't make money from this at all, but we got amazing brand awareness, we got amazing engagement. We were filming those events, posting on social media. It was in general a great success for the fact that we didn't put in like basic cost of an event was like 15 to 30 euros for to rent the microphones and stuff. So everything else we did on our own. Yeah, that's I guess that's about running those events, what I've learned through the last years. Regarding BCard, how this would connect, I'm like, I think I missed out on the part on how we're doing these, how these what these events are and Black Flag and everything. But for if we want to promote B Card through real life events without being salesmen and promoting it, it's like in my opinion two simple things. We have it's regularity, so these events happen regularly, that so they people know when to come back to and to see everybody, to see everybody again. So it's like it's like a little club community. So regularity is very important, and very important is an involving activity. I would guess that's how I would call it. Like something to do where you can get an experience on the spot. So I have no idea how would this translate into B card, but something around our messaging, something around our topic, has to be turned into like an activity where people can either learn, relax, or I don't know what was the third experience you can have in an event. Connect. So those psychological factors are satisfied. You can get this through just connection, but if you have something to do that you are then as a participant you would be preparing for the next one, so to come prepared and do this activity better than you did before. Like it gives motivation, interaction, and everything. Yeah, that's my little thoughts about real life events. Am I muted again or? Oh no.
No, I
No,
think
I can
Link's
hear
might-
you, Rainus.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm not,
So that's
yeah, I'm not sure if Links might be away or
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's
So
about it.
I muted my thing. Sorry, just my bad. I was talking muted.
okay, yeah, because I thought you'd follow up Reynes with something, but it was
Yeah.
didn't hear
No,
anything there. But yeah, go
I
ahead.
definitely did follow up with Reynes. Actually, that's such good info, Reynes, and so great to hear that you guys are running these in real life events. Just to catch you up on like why I'm bringing it up. Like I sent you in DMs, I sent you like that We Are the Black Flag website, and it's basically it's like a couple of pool together pools. Which have like 55,000 USDC and 20 ETH in them. And then we just use the yield every month and we give it out to in real life events. So if you look at our snapshot here, we're giving it out to in real life events. So February, January, December, November, and October. And so that was all really just like for the reasons that I kind of mentioned above, that we wanted to like I wanted to create something for in real life events. And it's also because that mechanism, that underlying mechanism, is something that we want to include in the BCard app. So hey, for any like nonprofit or purpose-driven community, you can now have an endowment fund which automatically funds your activities, and you can start to like you can get people to vote on where it goes. So this is kind of like our proof of concept, or our or like let's call it a case study for other communities to do this. So like Black Flag Collective is kind of like our test bed for BCard, if that makes sense. So when we're looking at like events, we don't necessarily have to relate them to BCard. It's fine if they're just like Black Flag kind of related. And then BCard is kind of providing the infrastructure to make that easier for other people to do. Does it make sense?
Mm-hmm. That's
So
a very good way to do this.
yeah, I'm running out of time here. This is the last time that I have a 10 o'clock meeting. So I have to close it off here. I know I didn't get to everyone. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in our user chat. I'm going to just ask the people who were here, Arkusti and who didn't speak, what it would take to get you to run an in real life event. But Reynes, by the way, for that freestyle event, if you're still running them, I can add you to the list of events just to get retro funding. Right now, we're not getting a lot of money from our yield because interest rates are low. But in the past, we were giving out like like each events were getting like $100 a month or something.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we're like currently we're not doing them, but in like 1 month we will be restarting season 2, and yeah. Only thing is like I don't like the B card is not in Europe, so I don't know how that
You don't need
connects.
to have B card. Like in this case, it's just we give like if you put a little black flag in your promotion anywhere, then you're eligible, and you can
Our,
just get
our
retro funding.
we have a huge black flag with with our logo on it that will be in every picture and video, if
There
that
you go.
counts.
Yeah, count it. Anyways, I really have to go, team.
Amazing.
So I'm sorry cutting this short, but thank you to everyone for being here. I really appreciate it. Just like talking about these things, it really helps me reason about them. It gives me a lot of like thinking to do later. So I'm really, really appreciative of everyone who contributes. And I'm sorry I didn't get to everyone today, but I will try to get your feedback async. And yeah, if you want to run an event, or even if you just want to try it, it would be a huge help to BCard. Not only will you get like retro funding from the Black Flag, I'll also make sure that anyone who is here, will get BCard for running those events too. So thank you to all of you, and I will see you later.
Cool. Thanks a lot,
everybody.
Bye.
Let's keep building
Thank
it.
you.
Thanks, guys. See you soon.
Bye. Thanks. Bye.
Cheers all.